Hey, what's up, guys? Mike Patrick. In this video, I'm going to title this video something along the lines of embodying the spirit of the Son of Man. Now, guys, especially here in America, the predominant religion, okay, is Christianity, okay, and with that said, many people call the Son of Man Jesus. Some call him Yahweh. Not Yahweh. I'm sorry. Some call him Yeshua. Okay, and um, I call him Yahushai. Okay. Now, despite the name that you call him, that you call him, even though it's important, okay, in my opinion, okay, at the end of the day, we're referring to the Most High God, okay, and His Son. Um, One thing that Christians, Jews, okay, have in common is that they do believe in the Most High God. Okay, it's just the difference is with Christians, they believe that um, that the Most High sent His Son, okay, to redeem the sins of men. Okay, and now with some Jews, they don't believe in the Son of God, redeeming um the sins of men. And then you do have some sector of Jews, like for example, you have all different denominations of Christianity, but and so what makes them different denominations is they all have a little twist in their belief that's a little bit different from the next denomination. So with that said, that's not the point of this particular video. The point of this particular video is trying to, for those who do believe in the Son of Man, is to embody the experience, okay? And if you can't embody the experience, then you can therefore more so appreciate and come to faith and come to belief and come to knowing in the Son of Man and the Most High, okay? Now, guys, we even think about Emmett Till. We think about, just think about any of the most heinous, most brutal, most tragic experiences that you can think of, right? Um, you think of lynching, you think of things that slaves went through, the history that we are told of and that we know of in America, right? With lynchings, rapings, all these different things, beatings, castrations, anything, right? Not anything, but things of that nature. I don't have to go much deeper than that. You think of how brutal of an experience that actually had to be. It's one thing to sit back and learn about these things and to just kind of vaguely think about it, but just imagine if you honestly had to live through that. Wow, we are so softened in this day and time. For example, we think, right now, you look at what's going on, right? You like, we thinking we're hitting hard times as you can think of it, as opposed to modern day society. But just imagine some of the things that other people had to go through in the past, okay? So with that said, for those who are believers, okay, some of you may still call him Jesus. Some of you may continue to call him Jesus. Some of you may not let go of calling him Jesus, okay? Some of you call him Yeshua. Some of you won't let that go. Some of you call him Yahweh Shai. Some of you will not let that go. Whatever, right? Um, the point is, you guys all believe in a savior, okay? We all believe in a savior. Um, and then so now to strengthen that belief, to champion, okay, strength and faith in a time where people, you know, maybe some people may be lacking. I know it's people out there. I'm not lacking anything, but you are even more validated, okay, in your beliefs and your knowings. Um, guys, the Most High, in the version of His Son, was lynched based on, if you was to fast forward his experience to the 1700s, 1800s, or something like that, early 1900s, he was lynched. Okay, he was beaten badly. Okay, maybe even disfigured to the extent of what we do know in modern day, somewhat modern day history, Emmett Till. Okay, and this was someone who was essentially um, not. I mean, who was literally perfect. I don't want to say essentially, he was literally perfect. Okay, and he understood what had to happen in order to further and to redeem a people. Okay, and understanding that they would not necessarily appreciate it, understanding that even his own would be probably more responsible than even the so-called enemy in actually uh, prosecuting or executing his overall, on in his lifetime, on this plane, demise. Okay, now with that said, guys, that's something to really really think about. Take a moment and think about that. Okay, um, he made certain sacrifices at a time, and he was conveying ideas at a time where it was not popular, it was not strong, it was almost no chance of him, even with his supernatural uh, origin, I guess you could say, and abilities. It was not popular for him to go against the grain. Now, it's a guy that I like to listen to, named Chris Hedges, okay, who I quote him vaguely, but I know he quote other people. He has quoted other people where it's, when you're being a revolutionary, when you're standing for change against something that is already established, that appears to be a brick wall, okay? Um the idea, you're not necessarily trying to win. If you're real to that cause, you're not necessarily trying to win as much as you are doing what is necessary, what you're there for. Okay, um, if someone already builds a 1 billion man army, okay, you don't fight against that army because if you're one person or two people or 10 people or even 1,000, you don't fight against that army because you think you're gonna win. If that makes sense, you fight against that army because it's the right thing to do. Okay, um, based off morals and things that aren't physical, that aren't tangible, based off of your soul, so to speak. Okay, um, and then eventually, what'll happen is, perhaps you only have a 10 man army, and they have a 1 billion man army. But what'll happen is, eventually, things will grow. Okay, things will grow. A snowball effect, a domino effect, just like how they were able to get to a 1 billion man army with their agenda. eventually that'll happen. But trust and believe, some things had to transpire in order for wicked to become powerful. Okay. So with that said, guys, you gotta always follow your soul and your path. Okay, we all gonna leave these bodies, per se, but even if you could stay in this body forever, would you want to stay in it knowing that you were I don't want to use the word a sellout, but just someone who knew better, and you went against your higher self and your higher judgment, your better judgment, because you was too worried about something that was below that appeared to be more real, if that makes sense. Um, for example, it's easy for me to say, okay, look, if you step out in front of the car, in front of a car that's about to hit a 2-year old, right? It's easy for me to say, if you go and get that 2-year old, you're going to get hit, but you're going to save their life. But morally, your soul will, um, just saying that one act, speaking in a sense of one act would determine something, right? Um, but your soul, you created great karma for yourself by doing the right thing morally, okay? But if you don't do that, and you watch, and you could have stepped in front of that car, you could have dove and tried to save that baby from getting hit from the car, but you was too worried about you and your body, and if you could end up with broken legs or maybe even dying, um, you know, yeah, you might keep your life, but what kind of karma, what kind of consciousness, what kind of energy will you have about yourself knowing that you pretty much coward like that? All right, guys. So just try to do the right thing. All right. Try to embody the Son of Man. Okay, and think about what he really went through. Uh, uh, Research what he went through. Okay, and try to really sit back and think and feel. Okay, and understand. Therefore, you will want to bring yourself back to what he fought for. Okay, because why would anybody go through that unless they believed in it? All right, guys. Peace.